Morning and happy Sabbath. I'm very happy to be with you all this week. I want to welcome you all. And again, I just want to praise the Lord that my family's here. My brother was actually here this last week just for a couple of days. You know, they've been very busy with the general conference. You know, they have been focusing on San Antonio. And for being such a large city, they had few churches. You know, praise the Lord that they have been able to do many good things there. Before I continue, I forgot I told Jose and Alicia that I was going to translate this sermon. So I'm going to do that as well. Le quiero dar gracias a Dios porque esta semana mi familia está aquí con nosotros y porque mi hermano pudo estar conmigo unos cuantos días aquí con nosotros esta semana. Ha estado muy ocupado con todo lo que está pasando con la conferencia general y así que se tomó unos cuantos días de descanso y estar aquí con nosotros. But this week we did something that we hadn't done in a long time. It's something that I love to do, but we hadn't had a chance. Esta semana con mi hermano pudimos hacer algo muy diferente, que nos gusta hacer, pero regularmente no tenemos tiempo. And I'm talking about fishing. Aquí tengo mis cosas para pescar. I have some of my tools here for fishing, and it's something that I enjoy doing. Aquí tengo ciertas cosas que uso para pescar y es algo que me gusta hacer. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm not very good at it, but I still enjoy doing it. Voy a ser honesto con ustedes, no soy muy bueno para pescar, pero aún así es algo que me encanta hacer. So I have some of my rods and reels here. Aquí tengo ciertas cosas que uso para pescar. As a matter of fact, I bought 2 poles of these. I bought these in Michigan. Y yo compré estos en Michigan y tengo 2 de esta clase. Now, in Michigan, it's awesome because in Berrien Springs, there's salmon that run up the St. Joseph River and a few other rivers there, and I didn't know that. Algo muy interesante es que en el río de St. Joseph en Michigan y en varios otros ríos, el salmón nada a esos ríos. Now, I went there, and I was so excited because I love salmon. Cuando yo fui allí a Michigan, excuse me, yo estaba muy contento porque a mí me gusta mucho el salmón. And just 200 yards from the apartment that we were living was one of the best places to fish in all of North America. Y solamente a 200 metros de donde estaba viviendo yo, en el apartamento donde estaba viviendo, era uno de los mejores lugares para pescar en Norteamérica. According to some fishing magazines or something like that. De acuerdo a unas ciertas revistas. But what was awesome is that the fish would run up that river, and just a quarter of a mile from where I lived was the fish run or the fish ladder. Pero lo interesante es que cuarto de milla de donde vivimos estaba la escalera por la cual nadaban los salmones. So all these salmon would come up this river and get stuck there at that ladder and take turns going up it. So you can imagine all the fish that would go there. Así que ahí donde estaba esa escalera donde subían el salmón, todos los salmones subían el río, pero se estancaban ahí, parecía un embudo. Así que no podían subir rápidamente. So I went there and I got this very floppy fishing rod. Así que yo fui y me compré esta caña que está bien guanga, perdón. And it's interesting because I went and I would go almost every day. Okay? And I've never fished in rivers. And I'm not a very good fisherman. But it's something that I enjoy doing. But I would go almost every day and catch absolutely nothing. Es algo que a mí me fascina. Y yo iba a pescar casi todos los días. Pero nunca pude sacar nada. So I thought to myself, what am I doing wrong? I gotta be doing something wrong. Entonces yo pensaba entre mí, ¿qué estoy haciendo malo? En alguna razón me estoy equivocando. So I went and I saw these guys and, you know, here I am, this poor college student going to the seminary. And I have a Walmart, like $10 fishing rod and just the cheapest gear that I could afford. And I thought to myself, this should be good enough. Entonces yo fui a pescar y yo tenía mi caña de pescar barata, corrientita, y tenía mis anzuelos y mis peces y todo corriente. Y yo pensaba entre mí, con esto debo de sacar algo. So I saw these 2 guys. They looked like a father and son. And they had their fishing waders, they had the hats, you know, just imagine them, just like the magazine. They had the lures all over their hats and stuff, and they had all kinds of stuff. So I was like, I'm doing something wrong, and I'm tired of not catching anything, so I'm going to go ask those guys. So we went, and that's where they told me, you need a real floppy fishing line, you need an Oslo lure, and all kinds of stuff that they were teaching me. And everybody told me, go to the pier there in Bob Sandlin, and you'll be able to catch something. Entonces, esa semana fui con mi hermano y había un tipo de pescado que se llama crappie, que según era muy sabroso. Y allí fuimos a pescar esa semana. Me dijeron que fuera al lago Bob Sandlin. So we went, and it's interesting because as I was there, I was thinking, as I was there not catching anything, I was thinking. Pero algo interesante es que mientras yo estaba allí pescando y no estaba sacando nada, me puse a pensar. And I learned some things. Yo aprendí unas cosas. Entonces, so we're there fishing, and I had this one. I had a hook. I took everything off for the safety of my children. Le quité los anzuelos para proteger a mis hijos. But I had this one with a worm. And then I had this one. I just got this fishing rod for Levi. There we go. Entonces yo estaba pensando entre mí. Yo tenía esa caña con un anzuelo y tenía una lombriz. But I had this one for Levi. Ese se lo compré a Levi. And then my brother was fishing with this one. Y mi hermano estaba pescando con esta. So I had a lure on this. And then I would cast and, reel it in and cast and reel it in. And every once in a while I'd see my bobber go down and stuff. But I thought to myself, not until I see that the fish is really hooked, then I'll go do something about it. So then I got tired of using the lure because I saw that nothing was biting this. Entonces yo me cansé de usar el curricán porque me di cuenta de que nada estaba funcionando con eso. So I started using this and just using the worms. Entonces yo empecé a usar y solamente estaba usando los gusanos. Because I kept seeing them go down there, the floater would sink, and then I'd try to yank it up, but there was nothing there. And I think it's because it's too floppy. Yo creo que es porque está muy aguado. So by the time I give it the signal to pull up, it's like somebody giving the fish like a 15-minute warning. Hey, watch out, the hook's about to come up, so let it go right now. Así que como estaba tan flexible, mientras yo le jalaba así para enganchar al pescado, es como si le dieran al pescado la señal de hace 2 minutos, mejor suéltalo porque ahorita te van a jalar. But, so I got my stuff here, and I got my net, which is really only used to catch our chickens. Así que tengo mis cañas de pescar y tengo mi red aquí que regularmente nada más se usa esto para alcanzar a las gallinas cuando las quiero agarrar. It doesn't really catch too much fish in here, unfortunately. And then I got my tackle box. Y aquí tengo mi caja con mis anzuelos y todo eso. And I got all kinds of cool stuff here. And some of them that bring memories like these I got up in Michigan. Y aquí tengo varias cosas, muchos anzuelos, hurricanes y pesas y cosas así. Y esto lo compré en Michigan. And I have some other things from Michigan too. I have this one from Michigan. So, a lot of cool stuff. Tengo muchas cosas muy interesantes. I have this little hook with I think that's supposed to be a crawdad. Tengo aquí un anzuelo con lo que creo que tiene que ser un cangrejo, una cosa así. But I have other things here. I have tons of stuff. I have my weights, I got my hooks, and I got these. These, I went to Bass Pro a couple of weeks ago. Y aquí tengo unas cosas que compré en la tienda de Bass Pro. And I asked the person over the counter, I was like, I want to go crappie fishing. I heard it's a good fish. What can you recommend to me? Así que fuimos a Bass Pro y yo le pregunté a la persona que me estaba vendiendo las cosas. Le digo, quiero ir a pescar este pescado crappie. ¿Qué es lo que me recomienda? And she said, everybody uses these. Y ella me dijo, todos usan estos. So I went and I got a well assortment of these different colors, and she was like, you want them kind of bright and stuff. This one was left out in the sun, thanks to my son. Entonces yo compré estos y compré varios colores y perdí unos cuantos por mi hijo porque Levi piensa que son de él. And then I also got some worms y también compré unos gusanos que a un muchacho, a Philip, le han dado muy buen resultado. And I got some worms like these because Philip Brown from Mount Pleasant, he fishes with worms. I mean, this guy, and these are the fake ones, and this guy's catching bass all the time. So I went and I got a good assortment. She told me all kinds of weights I could use. I even got a spare reel in case one of mine breaks and stuff like that, and just all kinds of stuff in there. But as I was out there fishing, not catching anything, as a matter of fact, we weren't catching anything so much that my brother fell asleep 20 minutes into our expedition. But I was out there, still struggling, still trying to catch something because, something was taking that bait. So I thought to myself, I gotta catch something today. Pero mientras nosotros estábamos allá pescando, mi hermano se durmió después de solamente 20 minutos. Y estuvimos ahí pescando y yo seguía adelante porque yo pensaba entre mí, algo tiene que caer. So, it reminded me of this verse in Matthew chapter 4, verse 19. Y eso me recordó de este pasaje aquí en el capítulo de Mateo, capítulo 4, versículo 19. But we're going to start in verse 18. Sorry, vamos a empezar con el versículo 18. And I'm going to read it in English, and my brothers and sisters will follow along in Spanish. Yo lo voy a leer en inglés y ustedes me siguen en español. It says, and Jesus, walking by the Sea of Galilee, saw two brothers. Simon, called Peter, and Andrew his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishermen. Then he said to them, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. They immediately left their nets and followed him. So this is something that's very interesting. This is something that's very awesome because we see Jesus Christ going to common fishermen. He didn't go to the synagogues or to the universities. Common fishermen, and said, I will make you fishers of men. Entonces aquí nosotros vamos a darnos cuenta de algo muy interesante, que Jesús estaba caminando por un lago y encontró a pescadores. No fue a la sinagoga, no fue a las mejores universidades, fue a un lago, a un bote, y le dijo a los pescadores que lo siguieran a él. Now, the language that he uses is awesome. El lenguaje que él usa es algo muy interesante because he uses something that they can relate to. Algo muy interesante de Jesucristo es que el lenguaje que él está usando es un lenguaje con la cual ellos se pueden identificar. I will make you fishers of men. Yo los haré pescadores de hombres. You know, and I'm out there thinking to myself, fishing isn't that much fun where you're not catching anything. Yo pensé entre mí, el pescar no es algo muy interesante si no estás sacando nada. You know, I believe in evangelism. I believe in preaching the gospel commission. Yo creo en el evangelismo. Yo creo que nosotros debemos estar predicando del segundo advenimiento. But when we think of evangelism, let's be honest, what's the first thing that comes to our mind? Cuando nosotros pensamos en el evangelismo, ¿qué es la primera cosa que se nos viene a la mente? Nobody's going to come. What's the second thing? Money. Pero cuando nosotros estamos pensando en evangelismo, ¿qué es la primera cosa que se nos viene a la mente? No, nadie va a venir. La segunda cosa que se nos viene a la mente es el dinero. Now, when Jesus says, I will make you fishers of men, there are some things that we can learn from fishing compared to evangelism. Nosotros podemos aprender muchas cosas de lo que Cristo le dijo a los discípulos y las cosas que son similares en el pescar y en el hacer evangelismo. First thing that I was thinking to myself is, there is not just one kind of bait. La primera cosa que yo me puse a pensar es que no solamente hay un tipo de carnada. So I was out there and I was trying worms and I was trying to lure. Mientras yo estaba pescando, yo estaba tratando los gusanos y también estaba tratando los curricanes. So I'm out there and I'm trying different kind of lures. I tried the cropping one, I tried another shiner thing, I tried a little spinner thing. And I was trying all kinds of stuff to see what would work. Yo estaba ya pescando y estaba tratando los anzuelos, estaba tratando los curricanes, estaba tratando diferentes tipos de curricanes para ver qué es lo que me iba a dar mejor resultado. It turns out the worms is what they loved. Resulta que los gusanos es lo que les gustaba. So we have to have the right kind of bait. Nosotros tenemos que tener la carnada correcta. You know, unfortunately, too many times in the Adventist church, we think that there is only one kind of bait. Only Daniel and Revelation, that's the only thing that works. Muchas veces nosotros pensamos que solamente hay un tipo de carnada en la iglesia adventista. Solamente series de Daniel y Apocalipsis. No hay nada más que funcione. Is this true? We do think this, but it's not true. There are many different other things that people come to church by. You know, I've heard of people coming to church just because of church picnics. People come to church because of health fairs. People come to church because of vacation Bible school. People come to church just because you knocked on their door and invited them to come to church. Mucha gente no solamente viene a la iglesia porque hicieron series de Daniel Apocalipsis. He escuchado de personas que vienen a la iglesia porque la iglesia hizo un picnic de iglesia. Porque hicieron una escuela de vacaciones bíblicas. Porque hicieron series de salud. Porque tocaron puertas e invitaron a ciertas personas. So the thing is that we have to first of all get our mindset that evangelism incorporates many different types of tactics. Entonces nosotros la primera cosa que tenemos que aprender es que el evangelismo se hace de diferentes formas. Just like there are as many lures out there. My uncle has he has huge tackle boxes of fishing boxes. And he has something like, this is my pride and joy. I've caught so many fish with this. And he has a bunch of different things because guess what? Not all fish eat the same kind of bait. Or not all fish take the same kind of lure. Entonces mi tío tiene unas cajas de diferentes curricanes. Porque él sabe que hay diferentes pescados que toman diferente carnada. Can I fish bluegill with a lure that I can use on largemouth bass? No, because they have a small mouth. Can I fish worms? Can I fish a marlin or a swordfish with a little worm and a hook? ¿Puedo pescar yo a los pescados grandes, no sé cómo se dice en español, con un anzuelito y con un gusano? No. So we have to understand that evangelism incorporates many different types of tactics. We have to be creative in our method of proclaiming the gospel. At the end of the day, the important thing is to proclaim the gospel. Al fin del día, lo importante es contarle al mundo del evangelio. The other thing that I learned is that fishing requires a lot of patience. To be able to go out there and do this all day, and sometimes not catch anything, but just keep doing it all day, and not catch anything requires patience, because guess what? If you're patient enough, you'll catch something eventually. La otra cosa que aprendí es que el evangelismo, igual que a pescar, requiere paciencia. Y requiere paciencia estar haciendo esto todo el día. Y a veces no sacar nada, pero al fin del día, si le seguimos adelante, vamos a sacar algo. So, it requires patience because so many times we think to ourselves and we give up on evangelism because we think, well, nobody came. And we spent thousands of dollars and nothing happened. And we did what my brother did. After 20 minutes, he fell asleep. But I let him because I know he was tired. He'd been working hard. Entonces nosotros tenemos esta mentalidad de que hicimos una campaña de evangelismo y gastamos miles de dólares, pero nadie vino, así que nos rendimos. Y hacemos lo que hizo mi hermano, que después de 20 minutos se durmió. Ahora yo entiendo porque mi hermano estaba muy cansado, había estado trabajando mucho. It requires patience. And, it's funny, my uncle that has all these massive tackle boxes and fishing poles and all kinds of stuff for fishing, he has a boat and all kinds of stuff. He says his wife will outfish him every single time. Mi tío que tiene todas esas cajas de curricanes y tiene una variedad tremenda de cañas de pescar, tiene hasta una lancha para ir a pescar. Aún así dice que su esposa saca más pescado que él. It's funny because he says that they'll go camping and they'll go fishing by this beautiful river, Andy. And he'll be out there just fishing, just working hard, fishing, with his lures and seeing even his best ones, and he's trying everything that he can. And my aunt will go over there and just put some sort of bait on a hook and just cast it out there and go back to where the tent is and be cooking breakfast and stuff, and then come back and she'll have something on the line. And he'll walk like for a mile and come back and he's just casting and have nothing. But he'll come back and she might have 4 or 5 fish already caught. It requires patience. The other thing is that we have to be willing to humble ourselves and ask somebody who has experience in evangelism, ask them for tips. Ask them what works in certain parts of the world, because not everything is the same. What works in one part of Texas may not work here in East Texas. What works here in East Texas may not work somewhere else. Entonces nosotros tenemos que ser suficientemente humildes para preguntarle a una persona que tiene suficiente experiencia qué es lo que le ha funcionado a esa persona. Porque no lo que funciona en una parte va a funcionar en todas partes. Just like I asked this guy, first of all, I went fishing a while back with a guy this guy could fish with like a shoelace and aluminum foil. It was ridiculous how good he was. Hace muchos años atrás yo fui a pescar con un hombre que tenía tanta experiencia del pescar que él podía pescar con papel de aluminio y los cadetes de los zapatos. He went, and I'm not kidding you, he went and he cut this branch off a tree, put a line and a weight and a hook, and went to a canal in South Texas. I'm thinking to myself, this is ghetto. He's not going to catch anything. Entonces yo fui con este señor, miembro de la iglesia, y él cortó una rama, agarró la línea, le puso una pesa y un anzuelo y le puso carnada y fuimos a pescar un canal. And I'm thinking to myself, what is this guy doing? He's like, Esequias. He's like, first of all, you don't need to cast it all the way out there. He's like, there's fish right here. I'm thinking, yeah, that's why everybody casts out there. Entonces él me dice, mira, Esequias, no te tienes que echar la carnada tan lejos. Mira, aquí nada más hay pescados. Y él pensaba entre mí, no, me estás bien loco. ¿Y qué no ves que todos están echando la carnada hasta allá? And I'm not kidding you. 10 minutes later, he caught this big old catfish. Just right there. I mean, his line was only about this big. Entonces, no pasaron ni 10 minutos y este hombre sacó un huile. Y solamente allí. Now, of course, he didn't eat the fish. He was a member of our church and he gave it to a brother of his. But right there, this man had so much experience. He knew where the fish were. Este hombre tenía tanta experiencia que ahí nada más donde, en la orillita del río, del canal, ahí sacó un pescado. The other person, and this is a person that I admire, this guy is amazing. I mean, he can fish. La otra persona que yo conocí es una persona impresionante. Este hombre sí puede pescar. He has fished all along the Atlantic coast, and he has fished all along the Pacific coast, all the way up to Alaska. He has fished all the rivers and lakes in Michigan. He even goes ice fishing, of all things. Este hombre ha pescado tanto que todo en el lado atlántico de los Estados Unidos, el lado pacífico hasta Alaska, ha pescado este hombre. Ha pescado todos los ríos y todos los lagos en Michigan. I was, as a matter of fact, the way I met him, I was at a tackle shop there in close to Berrien Springs, Michigan. And I told the guy my first experience, I was like, I have no clue. I was like, I have tried everything. I have been out there for hours. I have been out there for days. And not caught anything. What can I do? And just then there's a guy in that tackle shop and he was walking out. He's like, you need to talk to that guy. Entonces, mientras yo estaba preguntándole a un señor, yo estaba muy frustrado porque había tratado varias cosas para pescar y nada me estaba dando resultado. Y entonces en eso había un señor que estaba ahí en la tienda también. Él me dijo, el señor que yo le había hecho la pregunta me dice, alcanza a ese muchacho. Dice, oh, ese hombre sí sabe pescar. So I went and I caught him and I started asking him questions. You know, what do you use? Where do you fish? You know, what kind of fishing rod do you use? Everything that I could. And he gave me some pointers. Entonces a este hombre yo le hice muchas preguntas. ¿Qué carnada usas? ¿Qué curricán usas? ¿Qué tipo de caña usas? ¿Dónde pescas? Y este hombre me dio varias ideas. It turns out he was a relative of Anna's and I didn't even know. Resulta que era un pariente de Ana y yo no sabía. So, he showed me some of these fish that he had caught. Some of them were bigger than him. They were sturgeon and all kinds of crazy, ugly creatures that you can fish. Entonces este muchacho había pescado pescados más grandes que él. De diferentes tipos de variedades, unos pescados feísimos that he had caught. So I knew that he was the real deal. Entonces yo sabía que este muchacho era verdadero. So one day I finally got the chance to go fishing with him. Así que un día finalmente fui a pescar con él. I went out to this lake out in Michigan and I took my rod and I bought another fancy, reel and stuff and I took my rod and he looks at it and he says, nope, that's not going to work. I said, okay. In my mind I'm thinking a rod's a rod, it doesn't matter. Entonces fuimos. Yo me llevé esta caña y yo le había comprado una máquina nueva y él me dice, no, ese no va a funcionar. Yo pensé entre mí, pero ¿por qué? Si es una caña, según muy fina. So he goes to the back of his truck and he says, here, use this one. And it was some little toy looking fishing rod. Y era una caña que parecía de niño que tenía atrás de su camioneta. He says, use this one. Entonces fuimos, so we went and he walked out onto this small, little floating pier that he had, that there was out there in this lake. And he just walked on and said, oh man, there's tons of fish here. Entonces este muchacho fue y se paró en unas cosas que estaban flotando ahí en el lago y nada más se paró y dice, no hombre, aquí hay muchísimo pescado. So I was thinking to myself, how in the world do you know? He says, we're going to get on that canoe. We're just going to go right there, just about 15, 20 feet from the shore. Entonces este muchacho fue y me dice, nos vamos a subir a esta canoa y vamos a echarnos unos 15 o 20 pies de aquí nada más y ahí vamos a sacar pescado. And I'm not kidding you all. He went and just I don't even remember what kind of bait it was. But it would seem that as soon as that bait touched the water, he was pulling fish out. Just like that. Entonces este muchacho con su caña, le puso su anzuelo, le puso su carnada y sin mentirles, casi al instante que cayó esa carnada en el agua, empezó a sacar pescados. In less than 45 minutes, we had 50 fish. Bluegill, En menos de 45 minutos habíamos sacado 50 pesos. This guy was dropping them and pulling them out. Dropping them and pulling them out. Este muchacho dejaba caer la carnada y tan rápido como caía, lo estaba sacando. I'm glad to say that I caught 10 fish of those 50. Yo le doy gracias a Dios porque yo saqué 10 pescados de esos 50. He had experience because he could think like a fish. Él tenía esa experiencia porque él casi pensaba como un pescado. Brothers and sisters, evangelism isn't easy. Hermanos y hermanas, el hacer evangelismo no es algo fácil. But first of all, God has called us to do it. Pero Dios nos ha pedido que nosotros sigamos haciendo evangelismo. I think if I could sum up in just a few points what we can learn from fishing and compare that to evangelism would be this. We need the right kind of bait. And there's not just one kind. We need many kinds of bait. We need patience. We need persistence. And we need to have a love for it. Entonces lo que yo podría decir en unos cuantos puntos de evangelismo comparándolo a pescar es que nosotros tenemos que tener la carnada correcta. No solamente hay un tipo de carnada, igual que no hay solamente un tipo de evangelismo. Hay una variedad tremenda de cosas de evangelismo que nosotros podemos hacer. El evangelismo requiere paciencia porque muchas veces no va a dar resultado inmediato. El evangelismo necesita que nosotros sigamos siendo persistentes. Nosotros tenemos que seguir adelante porque va a haber veces que nosotros vamos a sentir rendirnos. Y lo más importante es que nosotros tenemos que tener ese amor para hacer evangelismo. If we have the right kind of bait, if we try many different things until we find something that works, keep using it. We need patience because there will be times when we think evangelism doesn't work, when we don't see immediate results. We need persistence because if we're not persistent in trying to do evangelism, just like we're not persistent in trying to fish, are we ever going to catch anything? No. And the most important thing is we need to have a love for it. We need to be able to love to do evangelism. We need to be able to love to tell others about Jesus Christ. I met a man named David, and with this I'll be closing. This guy, he was a principal of the Joshua Adventist Elementary School in Joshua, Texas. And he said that he always kept his fishing rod in a small tackle box in his truck. Yo conocía a un hombre que se llamaba David y él dice que él siempre tenía su caña de pescar, una caja para pescar pequeña en su camioneta. And he said he would leave to work at 6 in the morning. Él decía que se iba a trabajar a las 6 de la mañana. Although school didn't start till 8. Aunque la escuela no empezaba hasta las 8, él salía a las 6. Because he said every single day he would go to his favorite fishing spot and fish. Just for fun. Entonces él me dice que todos los días él salía a las 6 antes de la escuela para poder ir a pescar. That is love. Eso es amor. You have to love to fish to be able to go out there and sometimes not catch anything but be willing to go out there the next day. You have to love to fish. En realidad tienes que amar ir a pescar, estar allá todos los días pescando, aunque va a haber muchas veces que no vamos a sacar nada. We have to love to fish. Just like there will be days where we don't have any results from evangelism, we continue to do it because we love it. Aunque va a haber muchas veces que nosotros no vamos a sacar nada en evangelismo, hay que seguir haciéndolo porque lo amamos. So Jesus says here in Matthew chapter 4 verse 19, follow me and I will make you fishers of men. Entonces aquí Jesús le dice a sus discípulos, síganme y yo los haré pescadores de hombres. Immediately they left their nets and followed him. Inmediatamente ellos dejaron sus redes y lo siguieron a él. My grandpa, after he left the worldly lifestyle that he lived, God did tremendous things through him. And in 1 year, they baptized 102 people down in Mexico, working as a lay pastor by doing different kinds of evangelism. So brothers and sisters, we must ask the Lord to teach us and to put a love in us to do evangelism. Hermanos y hermanas, nosotros le tenemos que pedirle al Señor que Él nos dé el amor y la paciencia y persistencia para poder seguir pescando. There are many fish out there. We have to have the right tools to get them out. We have to have the right tools to bring them to Jesus. Hay muchos peces allá en el mundo, pero nosotros tenemos que seguir persistentes y usar la carnada correcta para poder traerlo a los pies de Cristo. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, Lord, we want to thank you so much for calling us, Lord, how we are, to become fishers of men as well. Señor, le queremos dar gracias porque usted nos ha llamado así como estamos para ser pescadores de hombres. Lord, may we be persistent in evangelism, Lord. May you show us, Lord, what would bring people to your fold, Lord. What can we do to present the love of Jesus Christ to somebody who feels lost? Señor, que usted nos pueda enseñar qué es lo que funcionaría aquí en esta parte de Texas. Enséñenos, Señor, que denos el amor para alcanzar a las almas que se están perdiendo. Lord, may we be patient. Señor, que nosotros podamos ser pacientes. May we be persistent, Lord. May we have love for others, Lord, to go out every single day and tell them about Jesus. Que nosotros podamos ser pacientes, persistentes, Señor, y poder tener el amor de Jesucristo para seguir saliendo todos los días para contar el Evangelio. Así en Jesus' name, le pido todo esto en el nombre de Jesús. Amén.